Good evening, Jersey Droners. I just wanted to make a quick video about my Jamaica experience and about taking a drone to Jamaica. If you just Google it, AI will tell you you have to jump through hoops. You have to get permission from the JCAA, which is the FAA, the Jamaica's FAA. You have to get permission from them. You have to send your passport and your drone model and serial number, all this information to the JCAA. So that's what I did right away. And then quickly, within the same day, I got an email back from them, and they had sent several different people the same email. So apparently a lot of people are just using AI to find out what they're supposed to do. And they told me that it's not their mandate when it comes to drones, that there's a whole set of guidelines that I posted on our Facebook page that you have to follow. And it's basically very similar to what we do in America, 400 feet. The only really awful thing is there's no FPV allowed, none. Like spotter, no spotter, doesn't matter. There's no goggles in Jamaica. But they actually give a distance. They say line of sight, but then they say 1,600. I believe it's 1,600 feet. You're not allowed to fly at night. And then these are guidelines again, so it's not actually a law, but this is what they tell you have to follow. There's some other ones about flying, keeping a certain distance from people, and then even more of a distance from groups, 3 miles, I believe, from airports. And there's a few other things, so I'll make sure that's posted again. But that's basically it. But then it turned out I called Customs. The JCAA told me I had to call Customs. One of the other things that AI said is you have to have permission from the property owner. So I had permission. I did get permission from the resort. I always just email resorts when we go, and I've been really successful, except our Disney cruise. I didn't bother trying on the cruise. But I email and I say, is it okay that I fly a drone, just for sunrise when no one's around in the morning? And if it's not okay, where's a good place? Could you tell me where I could go to fly and safely fly my drone on vacation? So I always put it that way. So if they're going to say no, I always figure maybe they'll give me some ideas. For Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, I got an email back from one of the managers at the resort who said, we don't allow them at the resort, but if you go just to the dock just north of our resort at the very end of their property, there was a dock. She said, you could fly there and you'll be fine. So it's just a short 5-minute walk, and I flew when I was in Dominican Republic. Jamaica, I got permission from the resort, but then the JCAA said I needed to contact Customs. So I called them right away. They said no problem, that all of the things I'd read had been true in the past, but they loosened up the regulations. I wouldn't have a problem. I kept reading negative things online and stories about, well, not stories, but things saying that drones were often confiscated in Customs. So I called a second time. That time, Customs told me, Jamaican Customs told me that if you didn't have your drone registered, it would be confiscated. Then she gave me a number to register it. I called that number, and it was a roofing company. So I called a third time, and Customs in Jamaica, and they talked to a supervisor and said I wouldn't have any problem. So at this point, I was paranoid. So instead of bringing my Mavic 4, I stuck my Mini 5 Pro in my camera bag with my camera, and figured if I was going to have anything, the confiscation, from what I read, you could get it back. You would get it back, but it takes hours to get something back from Customs in Jamaica if it gets confiscated. So I brought that. Then it turned out my wife signed up for something called Club Mobay. I don't know if that is a thing in other countries, but in Jamaica, if you sign up for that, it was $50 a person for adults for the whole trip, $30 for kids. When you get there, there's a person with your name on a sign, kind of like when you hire a driver, but they walk you through the airport. You skip all security. No one checked any of our bags going into Customs. They asked our kids if we were their parents. That was it. And then you go to their lounge, you get food, you get drinks as soon as you're in the airport. And they found our ride for us that we already had arranged, but they took care of our luggage. It was fabulous. So if you go to Jamaica, join Club Mobay. But that bothered me a lot because I absolutely could have brought my Mavic 4 because no one even looked at our luggage. For us, we had no security checks of our carry-on luggage. I'm talking about our carry-on luggage. And that was it. We got to the resort, and then they acted all funny about me. I handed them the paper that their communications administration had given me. They told me to give it to the manager when you arrive at the hotel. I was able to pick the hours I flew and everything. I had to write it on this form. So I gave it to them, and they acted very confused and, like there was some kind of problem. And I told them to let me know. And that I'd spoken with that gentleman, and I had his name and everything, emails. So no one said anything, so I went out and flew. The first day I had a security guard come up to me. He said, it's not really allowed here, but I just want to make sure nobody bothers you, he said. And I was like, okay, well, I appreciate that. But I did get permission, and he asked to see the email because I didn't have that paper anymore with me. But I told him I had given everything to the front desk, and he took the email. Second day, I had another security officer come up to me, not as friendly, and I guess just to show me he was boss. He told me not to sit on a rock, and and then I said, I'm okay, right? Because I did get permission. He goes, I know, until 7 o'clock. And what's funny is I picked that hour. I could have picked anything. But I just said I'd fly every day, 5 to 7, sunrise to 7 o'clock. And that was it. And then the next 3 days, nobody bothered me at all. And I still went to the edge of their property. Usually when you're at a resort, it was really easy there because the next resort's still under construction since a hurricane they had. But I went right to the sign that shows it's not their property anymore. The security guard still came out, even when I was flying there, but just to not bother anybody, because even at that hour of the morning, there's a few people on the beach. And so I just flew my Mini 5. It was nice. I missed the zoom because there was certainly some different birds and things that I could have gotten some great pictures of if I had a zoom, but I couldn't get near anything with the Mini. And that was it. So that was my experience. Since then, I communicated with UAV Coach, who I work for, and their information is absolutely accurate, that you just need to follow the JCAA's guidelines for flying a drone. So apparently, no drones are being confiscated by customs. But like I said, I didn't even get to experience that because we paid for this Club Mo Bay. So that, in a nutshell, is what we experienced in Jamaica. And I hope more people fly there. It was beautiful. We were in Falmouth, Riu Aquarelle, and it was right near, a couple miles from the port where the cruise ships come in. So that was neat, getting some pictures of them. But otherwise, just a beautiful place if you mostly just want to do a resort. It was really far to go to excursions from there. So you mostly just resort people for vacation. But beautiful place, awesome food. Got to fly my drone. Take care. Keep flying.